Big development at this hour. Pakistan continues to violate the ceasefire across the line of control and international border. As per the Indian Army, the ceasefire violations by Pakistani Army were reported at different places for the fourth consecutive day. Violations were reported at Kupwara in North Kashmir and Poonch in the Jammu division. Massive search operations are being carried out by security forces across various districts of Jammu and Kashmir. According to sources, the terrorist group hiding in the dense forest of Anantnag district was holed up at 4 different places and at one location in Hapatnar area. There was a brief gunfight here as well. Security forces have intensified these operations across South Kashmir, including districts like Shopian, Kulgam and Pulwama. The National Investigation Agency NIA has taken over the investigation of the case. They are working with the forensics, collecting and monitoring every small detail at the Baisaran site. Jammu and Kashmir police have detained over 2,200 people for questioning. Many of them were released later, but 175 people are still being questioned by the forces. Now, as per sources, the forces are focusing on the overground workers network. They believe that more than 10 people were in touch with the terrorists at the time of the attack. Now, these overground workers were talking to the terrorists via various encrypted apps. All right, for more on this, we're now being joined by WION special correspondent Idris Lone over the phone line. Idris, the overground workers, now this is again a new development that is coming to the fore at this point. As part of the search operations going on, the OGW's overground workers were in touch with the terrorists. This is what the reports are suggesting. If you can give us more.
Well, absolutely, Shivan. We're getting to know from our sources in the security that there were at least 10 over-the-ground workers who were in contact with the group of militants who were responsible for the Pahalgam attack. We're being told that they were talking through various apps which are encrypted, and that is one of the reasons we've seen that Jammu and Kashmir police picking up so many people. Around 2,200 people were picked up by security forces in the last 5 to 6 days after the Pahalgam attack, not only from South Kashmir but different parts of the other districts of Kashmir division as well. Out of them, most of them have been released, Shivan, but at the moment we're being told 175 people are still being questioned by Jammu and Kashmir police. There are many over-the-ground workers. We've seen their residences being raided by security forces. In Srinagar, only just a day before, in one day, there were around 63 raids that were carried out by security forces across Srinagar city only, wherein they were trying to locate and basically look for the evidence about all those 10 over-the-ground workers who were in contact with the militant group. On the other hand, we've seen that massive combing operations of security forces are being carried out in every district adjacent to the Anantnag district, like Shopian, Kulgam and Pulwama. We've seen in Baisaran, in Anantnag district, there have been massive search operations all across the mountain range that connects Anantnag district to other districts in South Kashmir. There have been instances, we're being told, at least 4 of them, where security forces did locate the militant group responsible for the Pahalgam attack. At one place in Hapatnar, there was a brief gunfight between security forces and militants, but they managed to flee from that site because of the dense forest that is giving them a cover. But security forces still carrying out the searches, and with the help of drones and helicopters, it is becoming a little easier for security forces, but still they're taking a little bit more time to locate these group of militants. Let me tell you, the foreign militants that have come into Kashmir as well as Jammu division, whoever, at least in the last 6 months, there have been multiple attacks on security forces in the Jammu division where they attacked and then went back and hid in the dense forest areas. They seem to be very well trained militants who are trained in mountainous warfare, and they go back into these mountains and hide in caves under the dense forest trees and take shelter there. So it's a little difficult for security forces to basically sanitize the whole mountain range, but nevertheless they are carrying out these massive search operations. It seems they're very close to basically come in contact and nab these attackers.
Rightly said, Idris. They're very close, and the number of encounters that have happened, 4 in the past 5 days, at least 4. That is what sources are suggesting. I wanted to understand from you a little more, Idris. You mentioned Hapatnar, where the gunfight did ensue. Militants got away. Now, if these were the same militants who had carried out that deadly attack, I wanted to understand if you can just explain to us these locations where the gunfights have taken place over the course of the last 5 days. How close are they to the border? Does anything suggest that they would perhaps be trying to make a getaway across the border?
Well, Shivan, the operation that we're talking about is in South Kashmir, so not very close to the line of control.
Understood.
The North Kashmir areas like Handwara, Kupwara and Baramulla are close to the line of control, while as in the South Kashmir is in the center, where districts like Anantnag, Shupian, Pahalgam and Pulwama lie. So not likely that they're trying to go back towards the North Kashmir. But let me tell you that the South Kashmir mountain range connects to Poonch Rajouri belt, which is in the Jammu division, and that is where most of the militants have infiltrated from. This is most likely this group of militants, especially the foreigners who were part of this group, must have come from the Poonch and Rajouri belt, because that is what connects it to South Kashmir mountain range, the Pir Panjal range, and then there is the international border and line of control in the Jammu division, where we've seen maximum number of infiltrations taking place. But there have been, according to Jammu and Kashmir police, there are like 14 local militants present in Kashmir, but maximum militants across Jammu and Kashmir are foreigners, and most of them have infiltrated from the Jammu division. There have been some instances from the northern part of Kashmir as well, but majority of militants still active in the Jammu division in the forest areas, Rajouri, Poonch, Aknoor, where we've seen attacks taking place in the last 6 months. The number of attacks had gone up there as well, and it seems that one of the groups from that must have come into the South Kashmir mountain range and carried out the attack. But we're also getting to know from our sources that this was a very planned attack. They knew that there will be no security forces there. They knew that they could basically carry out the attack for around 10 to 15 minutes before anybody arrives at the location. Shivan, Baisaran is a meadow where there are no cars going to that place. It's only while you can trek or you can take horses to go to this place. So it was very well recce. They must have been help coming from over the ground workers, and also they must have done a recce before carrying out this attack.
And as the report carried, at least 10 over the ground workers were in touch with the terrorists. That is what sources are suggesting. And the latest, and as Idris correctly pointed out, this was a planned attack. Baisaran Meadow is not reachable by cars, and that is where the attack took place. They knew they will be targeting tourists here. Idris Sloan getting us the latest from Srinagar. We will be keeping in touch, getting you the updates as they come in.